As the title indicates, this video talks about managing a project in the field of engineering. And the project can be any engineering project, large or small, because the techniques described can be applied to the Engineers Without Borders project that you are involved in, or major projects like a Green Star building. And it incorporates references to risk management, to the quality of a product, and written and verbal reports. This is what the video will cover, and this follows chapter 10 of the set book. Here are a few definitions of project, of management, tasks, and dependency. The quality of a product and any risks are dependent on a budget. The time available and the scope are also crucial in managing any such product. Key factors. It is important that a project is not overmanaged or undermanaged. Critical path methods and critical path analysis comprises a flow chart of all tasks, and the critical path is the most important. It may not be the one that's followed, but it may be the most sensible path. Here is such a path. A typical flow chart going from left to right, but some flow charts are very complex and have arrows in all directions. The program evaluation and review technique uses three estimates of the time: the most likely, the best, and the worst. Project management stems from an institute, the Project Management Institute, started in the States in 1969. And the PMBOK, that's the Project Management Body of Knowledge, uses a standard to certify project managers. We're going to adopt systems thinking. That's breaking a task down into a series of simpler ones. To illustrate this, let's look at a Green Star building. Green Star buildings are of the highest quality, and they are awarded 4 stars, 5 stars, or 6 stars, and the large cities boast of their successes, and they're very prestigious buildings. They're accredited by recognized bodies. The Green Star building is designed by a series of professionals, as you can see. Systems thinking looks at the building not only for the purpose for which the building might be constructed, but who provides services, who provides flora and fauna. What about the people inside? Say they are mothers and fathers with children, so they would provide day care. There may be places for eating and drinking inside the building as part of the plan. So there are 6 key elements in the putting together of such a project, and we're going to refer to the one-page project manager, OPPM. So here are the 6 key elements, and this is the chart on which these elements are placed. You'll see from left to right there is a date line. From top to bottom, objectives. There is a column, major tasks. And the idea is to convert the project into this chart, this OPPM. So before a project starts, tenders are put out and expressions of interest are submitted by companies to be involved in the project. Some projects will be multi-million projects and others will be fairly small. So here is a typical project in which the tasks, the objectives, and the timeline has been completed. And you'll notice in the bottom right that of the costs, the biggest cost of all is salaries, which is often the case. Now, do we bid? Well, it depends on whether we have the expertise. Can we do it according to the time scale? Do we want the work? So these are a number of questions that are asked of a company who may get involved in one of these projects. And here you've added now another line to the chart, and you'll notice that the materials have now been estimated, and the equipment and the salary bill has gone up to $1 million. So we're moving ahead with our project plan. And here once again we've added some more objectives in the left-hand column. And on the right we have the owners of the various tasks. Who is responsible for those tasks? So an OPPM states the owner. Priority A is the person heavily involved, priority B less involved, and there are weightings attached to these. So there you can see the A's and the B's on the right, and now given that chart, decisions can be made on whether to proceed or not, or if it's a small company, whether to bid for the work or not. Then a conceptual design is put together, sometimes with a model. Risk management. Any delays in the project may cost a lot of money, so that has to be built into the plan. The design, it might be a new design, a revolutionary design, and that may involve risks. During the construction phase, there may be areas which are putting workers, external people at risk. Disruptions due to weather can cause a deviation from the timeline. So the risks have to be considered and costed. Design risks. Safety. If it's a revolutionary building, then safety may not have been tried and tested in previous buildings. And so eventually there's a cost versus reliability trade-off. Construction risks speak for themselves. Environmental protection regulations control certain aspects of a new building. So we try to eliminate the risk or at least reduce it. And protective equipment and administrative controls obviously have to be taken into account. There are internal project risks to do with the personnel. What if they leave? What if there are injuries? What if there is financial failure of a company? What if there's a global financial crisis? All these things are risks. And here is a chart showing some of the risks and their level. You may like to come back to this or pause the video to look at this in detail. So a knowledge management plan is put together, incorporating the risks so that we have a better picture of the project. Now, communities of practice are conversations that take place between the various professionals. Now, as a student, you will work with your colleagues in putting your projects, your reports, your presentations together, and you use Blackboard to help you do that. Blackboard gives you access to views. Time, scope, and budget constraints determine the final quality. For a Green Star building, the quality is of the highest. Now, there are two quality assurance structures here, a client engineer one and an engineer constructor one. They're all different. Here we've got the 6 P's of quality management. The set book discusses these in great detail. So as far as a student goes, you want to pass your exam, to understand the basic principles, you attend lectures, you read the online notes, you have a number of indicators as you go along, assignment marks for example. You set aside yourself time to do better. So, you've been introduced to OPPM, risk quality knowledge, you've been shown the stages of project management. Thank you for your attention.